So hi and welcome to this week's special edition of the Whiteout podcast. How are you doing, Rob? Nice to see you.
Good, thanks. Nice to see you too, Dom.
Because we had the very lucky chance to sit down with Bode Miller not that long ago, and he was definitely a hero of mine, and I know he was a hero of yours. Mind you, listening to him in the early stages of this interview, I don't think he was as pleased to see us as we were to see him. How did you feel when you sat down with him?
Yeah, you know, Bode is such a big name in the industry, and what a skier, and what a ski racer, and a maverick ski racer at that. And when I sat down with him, it was interesting because, like you said at the beginning, I was like, I gotta work harder on this one. Got to work harder on this interview, and like you said, he definitely warmed up.
He definitely did. He definitely did warm up. I think once he realised you knew your regs, then he warmed up a bit. I guess there's plenty of people who sit down and interview him who don't know their tip from their tail. So I should think he was probably quite pleased to hear that you knew a little bit about him and that you were you were fairly well prepped.
Well, thanks, Dom. I appreciate that. Hard work being on that side as well. Hard work for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a listen. Bode Miller, interviewed by Rob Stewart.
I've got the pleasure of meeting Bode Miller, a legendary ski racer. Hi, Bode.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, it's fantastic to meet you. I've been a fan for, I think it's like 20 years since you burst on the ski racing scene, and I first saw you probably in a World Cup race. And in fact, I think it was the Laberhorn downhill in Wengen, and maybe in '98, something like that. And I saw you skiing, and I was like, wow, that's kind of different. And then you go on and win medals and win so many things. Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist, bronze medalist, 4 times world champion, World Cup champion many times. How did you do it?
I mean, I think staying with it long enough, I was durable, so I didn't get hurt when I was crashing. That's honestly the most important thing, is staying healthy. And unfortunately for most people, when they try to stay healthy, that requires not skiing very fast or not taking very much risk. In my case, I took a lot of risk and learned very early how to crash and not get hurt. And I'm sure I was very lucky too to go through as many crashes as I did and not get hurt. But once you are able to figure that out, you are able to take big risk and push the limits, and you solve problems. And eventually, once you start finishing, you're fast.
I mean, like when you were really pushing yourself, I mean, all through your career, but certainly in the early days, and you kind of looked like you were. I mean, every ski racer's on the edge, but you were like really on the edge. I mean, was that your strategy? Did you always go out there saying, "I'm just going to push myself to the absolute limit of my abilities and see what happens"?
Well, I mean, every time I was in a race, I would assess what I thought it took to win, and when you're young, especially in my case, I didn't have a very solid technical foundation. I just never really worried about technique that much. And coming through the ski program in the U.S., it's not like Austria or Switzerland where they really focus on technique early for a long time. And so it required a much higher level of intensity for me to do well. I wasn't that good yet. I mean, as you see, it's not that common that young guys do really well. So I was still learning and developing. And I still wanted to try to win them. So yeah, I was in that case, I had to take a lot of risk to be competitive. And when you combine taking a lot of risk, going really fast, and not great technique, you get what you got, which is, it looks kind of ragged, but when it works.
Well, you got a winning formula.
Well, in the end of the day, there's no judging in ski racing. So it was easy for me to justify. If I looked good or spent energy trying to look good, I definitely wouldn't have been as fast. So,
okay, so I mean, like you've got 4 kids, right? And I guess, do they ski? You enjoy skiing?
Yeah, I take them skiing. I mean, we live in Southern California, so it's not really a ski environment. We go on ski trips, and I go on business trips where I take them with me, and so they've been on snow quite a bit, and they really enjoy it. But it's not like how I grew up, where I was on the mountain every day.
Well, I mean, your kids or any other kids, if you're giving them advice, I've got a daughter as well, and she enjoys skiing. I mean, would you say to them, just go out there and do your own thing, be your own style, or would you say no, you need to get grounded in those ski techniques first properly? I mean,
no, I mean, I personally, I can't tell my kids anything. They don't listen to me at all. So And if I do tell them something, they do the opposite. So
Right.
I'm better off just keeping my mouth shut and letting them do it. I mean, if they ask me questions, I'll sometimes give them pointers, but more I think I just ski with them and let them watch me and see how they develop. It's really there's no real rush either. You just go out there, and as long as they're having fun, that's the important thing.
Okay, cool. And Olympic Games coming up, obviously, Pyeongchang. You're heading out there. I think you're commentating for MBS TV, is that correct?
NBC.
Sorry.
And Eurosport, a little piece too.
Okay, cool. And, American races at the moment, like in the men's side, not too much going on the downhill, I guess. But I mean, obviously in the women's.
Across the board on the men's side, but the women are pretty strong.
So do you think Michaela will do it? Do you think she can get gold in Pyeongchang?
Yeah, I think she'll get at least one. I would guess she's an exceptional skier, but there's a lot of pressure on her. And being as dominant as she's been, that's traditionally not a nice place to come into the Olympics. It doesn't favor the favorites. So, but she, as I said, she is exceptional. So she might be able to pull it off. And
just to finish off, in Europe, when you're skiing over here, I know you probably love Wenger, and seeing as you've had some great times there in the past, but is there any other ski area, or maybe it is Wenger? What's your favorite here in Europe?
I mean, it's always different. It's more conditions than anything else, but I was just in Paganella, which is in Italy, and that place is pretty incredible.
Okay.
They're growing a lot, but it's got a really cool culture and a lot of really enthusiastic skiers, and we trained there a bit as the U.S. team. That's how I got to know the resort. But it's a pretty great spot to be. Cool.
All right, I'll check it out. Thanks, Bode.
No problem.
Really nice to meet you. Cheers.
So, Rob, that was a great entry into that, wasn't it? He was definitely not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I did. He wasn't bouncing all over the place, was he? And coming up with anything, that was making my life and job easier. And I think at first, because of the way that Bode skied, and I looked at this guy and I thought, what the heck is he doing? This guy's mad. I mean, he's not skiing. He's not skiing normally. And hang on a second, you're not supposed to do that with your arms or your legs. And then, then he wins. And you think, oh my God, okay, something's going on here. The guy that just looks a mess and leans back on his skis is winning. It's not what I was taught when I learned to ski. No. And actually wasn't leaning back. He just looked sometimes like he did because it was just the position that he was in.
He definitely looked leaning back and laid back when he was talking to you.
This maverick ski style doesn't translate into what I expected as a person immediately. It was nice to meet him, and I think in the end, like you said, he definitely came through.
Yeah, definitely warmed up. At the age of 36 and 5 months, he became the oldest alpine skiing medalist in the history of the Olympic Games. It's all right, isn't it? Yeah.
So 30. So let me just try and guess. Let me guess what Olympics that was then. Was that Vancouver 2010? Do you know?
No, I think they're saying that was Sochi.
Oh, Sochi 2014. Interesting
one. Definitely a great interview. We've got another big name coming up, haven't we? I think we also met with Svindal, who you previously mentioned. So a couple of weeks' time, we've got that being released on our podcast. So that's pretty exciting as well. Anything exciting we need to know from you, Rob? Where are you off to next?
I'm off to Switzerland the end of this week.
Nice. Whereabouts?
From Montana. And then Grindelwald.
Oh, excellent. Nice. Our next trip is out to Teen, going out there for New Year. We'll have our regular snow report and regular episode coming out next week. So we will see you next time. Good to see you.
Yeah. Bye, Dom. Have a good one. Enjoy Teen if I don't see you before that.
I'll see you before that, Rob. Don't you worry.